Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday. And that means tonight, well, was AEW Dynamite. Tonight's AEW Dynamite, I thought was a pretty good show. I thought it did a great job building up Swerve and Samoa Joe for the Dynasty pay-per-view. I was kind of going into this a little lackluster on it because I'm like, well, Swerve already got a shot. And Swerve already lost to the triple threat. Why can't we give Joe another opponent? But then doing the whole Jeff Hardy Undertaker thing tonight where it's like, oh, is that all you got? I ain't dead yet. It got me. It worked for me. Swerve over here signing the contract in his blood. Swerve over here saying, you can't kill me. You got to do more than that. Is that all you've got? It worked for me. It worked for me. And it got me now invested and hyped up for Samoa Joe and Swerve, where I kind of wasn't really going into tonight. I kind of felt like it was just a match. Like before this, I was like, well, Swerve already got a shot. And Swerve already lost. And Swerve was kind of made to look dumb in the triple threat. So why should I care? Now tonight, they did enough to make me care. Now they opened the show with a rah-rah Adam Copeland speech. I don't know if that's a response to CM Punk and everything. That's what some people are alluding to and asking about and whatnot. So we'll get into all that here in just a moment, but I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube. Do a couple things up for us over there as well. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember to hit that join button to become a channel member. Becoming a channel member is a great way to support the channel. And finally, another great way to support the channel and make sure your comment, question, or concern does get read live on the air is to donate a super chat. Remember to donating a super chat is, again, like I said, a great way to donate and support the channel. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting new stuff for Fortnite, like the new Battle Pass. You haven't got that yet. Maybe you're finding stuff for the Lego Fortnite or Rocket Racing. Use the code. Use the code. Maybe you're even claiming the free game. Free game right now is, why is it not showing? In Sluts, but then starting tomorrow, the free game is the Outer Worlds Spacer's Choice Edition. And we're getting Thief. Outer Worlds and Thief. Both really, really, really great games you're getting for free. So when you claim those on the Epic Game Store, use this code right here. Also, I do want to say thank you to everybody that reached out to me today with the birthday wishes. Really do appreciate those as well. Appreciate the wishes. All the people messaging me and so forth on social media saying happy birthday. So as we move forward, I guess we'll get into esports gaming rules question comment right before he donated in the Twitch chat. He said Rossi and Julia may show up at WrestleMania XL in Philly. Now, he's got a two-part question here, so we'll get to the first part. I don't think they do. If anything, it's NXT, not WrestleMania. If anything, and not even Rossi Ogawa. Maybe Julia shows up in the crowd at NXT, and they're like, hey, this lady is signing. Not yet. She's not showing up yet, but she's coming in soon, because she's still going to do some stuff with Rossi Ogawa before going to NXT, and I don't think WWE is going to bring her in fully and then be like, oh, you can go back to Japan and do stuff over there as well. But I think maybe they do the tease of just the announcement of, hey, you know this girl, you know of as Julia, she signed. We're not going to see her yet, but we wanted to let you know that she has signed, and we'll see her soon. It's unclear exactly when soon's going to be, whether that's 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, or so forth. but we do know that she's coming, most likely. And then, like, just thinking of that, maybe we even see Tama Tonga in the crowd if Tama Tonga's going to NXT. That's what I would assume, because the Good Brothers are in NXT. So maybe they're in NXT to be with him, and they're going to do something there before coming to the main roster. I don't know. But I would expect maybe a couple new, fresh faces in the crowd at Stand and Deliver on Saturday. Second part of Esports Gaming's question. Adam Copeland tried to cover TK with that promo after CM Punk scorched did Scorched Earth on AEW. If you guys didn't see, CM Punk was on the MMA Hour, and he talked a lot about AEW because he was asked a lot about AEW. And basically he was like, Tony Khan's a great guy. Like, Tony Khan is such a nice guy, such a great guy. Can't say anything wrong and bad about him as a person, but he's not running a real business, is what CM Punk said. CM Punk said he is not running a business that is looking to get good TV ratings. He's not running a business that is looking to get seats in the butts in the seats in the buildings. He is not running a business to make a profit. He's running a business, according to Punk, running a business that just puts on the coolest matches possible. He said that they're just a bunch of guys trying to appease a goof with stars. Something along those lines is what he said, basically. And so I don't know if this Adam Copeland speech was in response to that. But it is funny that Tony Khan's got a new catchphrase for AEW that is definitely a ripoff of Eric Bischoff's WCW catchphrase, where the big boys play, when he knocked Eric Bischoff for being, I guess you could say, a bad promoter and businessman himself. So I'm gonna pull this up really fast. Tony Khan sent out a tweet that said, quote unquote, AEW were the best wrestle. That's literally the same thing as WCW, where the big boys play. That's the exact same thing. Saying AEW were the best wrestle. Like, really? If people didn't think you were just a WCW copy before, God dang. God dang. And apparently he didn't send this out tonight. He sent this out like a couple days ago, but then retweeted it or something. I'm not 100% sure. But, oh no, he retweeted. Okay, so he sent this out on the 29th and then sent out another one of the exact same tonight. Got it. Okay, that's what it is. I'm looking on his Twitter right here. AEW, we're the best wrestle. So dumb. So dumb. What wasn't dumb was this show. Now, the opening was kind of meh with this rah-rah Adam Copeland speech, but Adam Copeland comes out and gets a loud ovation from the crowd as he has issues with the microphone at first, and says he's not out here as TNT champion for a Cope Open, but instead he wants to talk to the crowd as Adam. Said it's a great time to be a fan of pro wrestling right now. Copeland talked about growing up watching WWF, NWA, Stampede, and others because he loves it all. This was torn away from him 9 years ago, though. So when it came back to him, he realized that AEW is where he needs to end his career. Which he's already revisionist history. Because when he found out he was cleared and could return to wrestling, yes, he did have a talk with Tony Khan then. But then took that deal to Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon signed him. So if you thought that AEW was the spot you had to be at, you wouldn't have gone to WWE. You would have just immediately signed with Tony Khan back then. So Copeland says he looks at the roster, a murderer's row of talent, and says that he'd put that up against anybody or any roster. In AEW, Copeland could face guys like Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Hangman, Claudio, Swerve, Joe, Moxley, Darby, FTR, the Young Bucks, the House of Black, all of which are first-time matches for him, which happens in AEW. And I'm thinking here, and I go, yeah, no, he never fought Moxley. Yeah, no, he never had a one-on-one match with Claudio. I'm trying to think of the guys that were in WWE at the same time. And it's like, dang, yeah, that's true. FTR, don't think that either. So it's like, okay. And you notice how he didn't mention Danielson because that's not a first-time matchup. Copeland said he's having a blast in AEW and isn't knocking anywhere else. But this is the most fun he's ever had in his career. Copeland celebrates AEW and the men who started it. The Bucks, Kenny, Cody, and Tony Khan. All who should be celebrated because we love wrestling. AEW has pushed the industry into better places and given more people this to do for a living, which isn't wrong. Without AEW, less people will be making a living wage in pro wrestling. Now, there'd still be a lot of people making a living wage in pro wrestling. There would be a lot of people who grinding the indies and still making it work. But because AEW came around, that did change a couple of things. It gave more people guaranteed contracts because now they can sign guaranteed contracts with AEW. It basically forced WWE to pay more because now they got to compete with a company that can afford to compete with them. Granted, we've had TNA, but TNA was never able to compete on the money level of a WWE. Now AEW can. So that's forced WWE to raise prices of their contracts, like raise salaries and whatnot. So it's like, yes, AEW has done great for the business. I'd never not say that. WWE has done great things for the world of professional wrestling. I mean, AEW. Again, they forced WWE to get better. They forced WWE to pay wrestlers more. They forced, and then even at that, they've also allowed a new space for wrestlers to go to make money. He says that AEW makes pro wrestling better, fun, and it's where the best wrestle. Copeland apologizes for getting fired up, but now AEW is walking into the future. There's a reason Okada, Monet, and Ospreay came here. Copeland introduces someone who led AEW going forward and introduces someone who will lead AEW going forward and introduces Will Ospreay to the crowd. Ospreay comes out, shakes Copeland's hand, and then we go to our first match of the night, Will Ospreay versus Powerhouse Hobbs. So it's like, we got the rah-rah speech. We got the, hey, just because others are talking bad about us, we're still here. We're still kicking. We're still alive. We're not going anywhere. Just because they said bad things doesn't mean bullshit. So, yeah. Cool. It was a whatever 10-minute open. Not even 10 minutes, really. I guess no Luke tonight. He's got school stuff to take care of, so. Like I said on the Monday Night Raw review, if everything goes according to plan, should have a fun guest host with me on a Saturday and Sunday for WrestleMania. So we get Will Ospreay versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Don Callis on commentary as Hobbs pounced Ospreay right at the bell and landed a series of corner strikes. Hobbs tried to pop up strike, but Ospreay hit a drop kick in midair. Ospreay realized it was foolish to try and strike battle with the bigger man, so he used his speed to send Hobbs to the floor and followed it up with a slingshot forearm. Callis applauds his Don Callis family members who drove, and then Will Ospreay drives Hobbs into the steps. Hobbs blocked a whip. Ospreay cleared the barricade, only to be caught by Hobbs with a vertical suplex on the steps. Excuse me. There was a world's most dangerous slam repeatedly on the apron that led to Hobbs hitting a fall-away slam over the commentary table, which took things to the commercial break. When things returned, Ospreay fought back with a handspring and a wheel kick. He fired off some chops, but had no effect on Hobbs, and he got this look on his face like, oh, chops aren't gonna work. So he, so a slap to the face followed, and Ospreay knew he messed up. Hobbs grabbed Ospreay by the throat and delivered an overhead throw. Hobbs blocked the Tornado DDT, but Ospreay managed to hit a Stun Dog Millionaire. Hobbs soon countered with a wild lariat to the back and a power slam for a 2. Hobbs went up top, but missed a frog splash. And after that, he failed and tried to go for it again. Ospreay then hit a Os Cutter flush and got a 2. Ospreay wanted the hidden blade, but Hobbs countered into the world's most dangerous slam, which Ospreay countered into a cradle for a 2. Ospreay then charged at him, but was turned inside out with a double down. Hobbs then hit a twisting avalanche power slam out of the corner, but Ospreay kicked out a 2. Hobbs lowered the straps, wanted to go for a spine buster, but Ospreay spiked him with a DDT. Followed this by a leap of faith and a hidden blade for the victory. So there we go. Will Ospreay does pick up the win. And it's like, not a bad match. Nothing against the match. It's just Ospreay's facing these random guys that are all part of his stable, his group, his faction. So why should we care about these matches? Why are faction mates fighting. It doesn't make any sense. The post-match, Callis tried to check on both of his clients, as he calls them, but Hobbs was furious. Callis whispered something to Hobbs to calm him down. Ospreay then left on his own, and Callis left with Hobbs. Before Ospreay could celebrate too much, Bryan Danielson's music hit. They both kind of met at the top of the stage. They looked at each other, and then they went their separate ways before we got our next match, Bryan Danielson and Lance Archer. So again, Hobbs and Ospreay was a good match. I enjoyed it, but I didn't care for it, is the part that really is the bad part, which is the same as the next match. I don't care that we got Bryan Danielson versus Lance Archer. Thought the match was fun. I thought the two had a banger, but there's no reason for it. It didn't matter. It's not like, okay, Ospreay needs matches to build him up to become a contender for a championship. Danielson needs matches to build him up as a contender for a championship. No, they already got a singles match. So build this feud. Just throwing these guys out in random matches. Yes, I'm hyped up because I know a Will Ospreay Bryan Danielson match is going to be amazing. But it's not, if I'm a fan that doesn't know how amazing both men are in the ring and is just like, okay, these guys are having a match at the pay-per-view, but why? And why should I care? If you're just an average fan who doesn't know and needs to be told why to get invested, they're not doing a good job at that. They're not doing a good job at telling us why we need to be interested in Danielson versus Ospreay. Why we need to care about Danielson and Ospreay facing off at the pay-per-view, like they did in the main event angle with Swerve and Joe. As we move forward, we have Danielson versus Archer. Again, kind of a similar match to the Open. The big man uses his power to keep down the smaller, faster guy, but then the smaller, faster guy's speed does come into play. So we're told it's the first ever singles match between the two as Archer steamrolls Danielson at the bell. Archer delivered chops and some clubbing blows before a hard buckle led to a throwing suplex. Archer hit a series of corner splashes until the third missed, and Danielson zoned in on the leg with some dragon screws. Danielson kept going for the leg, and with some kicks in the corner, he hit a drop kick. Archer then swatted him down and threw him to the floor. Danielson used his speed to try to go for a dive, but was caught in midair and chokeslammed on the apron. Archer grabbed a ring attendant and body slammed him onto Danielson, and we went to a break. It was all Archer during the break. They told us. I didn't see the break because I didn't get the picture-in-picture during or on the app. Danielson finally started to fight back with some chops and some leg kicks. Danielson flipped out of the corner, tried a running charge, but Archer, ran through him with a crossbody. Literally threw him with a crossbody. Archer tried a rope walk, but Danielson pulled the leg out, crotching Archer on the top rope in the process. Archer fired up with some corner drop kicks before the third, and he countered it with a bear hug. Danielson himself countered into a lapel lock. Archer used his size and length to get his foot on the bottom rope to break the hold. He then rolled to the floor as Danielson met him with a charging knee off the apron. Back inside the ring, Danielson connected with a drop kick off the top and some yes kicks that followed. Archer blocked the head kick and chokeslammed Danielson for a 2. Danielson then fought off a blackout using some anvil elbows in the corner, but Archer hit the step-up knee. A blackout attempt countered into a rear naked choke, only this time Archer shrugged Danielson off, who got to his feet and hit a Busaku knee. Archer then blocked the other, so Danielson hit a series of head kicks and a home run Busaku knee to pick up the victory. So there we go. Bryan Danielson does get the win. Again, good match. I enjoyed it, but I didn't care about it. They did nothing or told me no reason or why I should care. Next up, we got Renee Paquette. Welcomes out Lionheart Chris Jericho to the stage. It should be noted, Jericho walked out to his usual. We walked out of the heel side. Think about that. Heel side. So is he turning on Hook? Get asked Jericho about his offer to mentor Hook last week. And Jericho said Hook referred to something last week that he's sticking with him. He calls out Hook, who came out. Jericho said Hook said he knew who Jericho is last week, and Jericho realized it's like the song says, everyone I've ever loved, I've pushed them all away. Jericho said that he's not asking Hook to trust him, but to believe in him as much as he believes in Hook. The crowd is booing Jericho here, as Hook said he believes in Jericho so much, he got them a match on Collision, and he'll be keeping an eye on him. Jericho said that he's learning already, and they two fist bump. Hook just left, and so did Paquette. And that was it. This did nothing for me, other than basically say, Jericho's turning on him eventually? What, for the FTW belt? Yeah, again, this is another thing that did nothing for me. Nothing for me. I have no clue where this is going, other than I think Jericho's eventually going to turn on Hook. Like I said, Jericho came out of the heel side. Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty were backstage. They're going to be the ones to knock out the Ocho and Hook in their upcoming match on Collision. They said they're going to get their asses beat courtesy of Shane Taylor Promotions. Then we got a pretty ridiculous match in angle, if I do say so myself. It was Billy Gunn against Switchblade Jay White. Billy Gunn won via disqualification. This sucked. Crowd hated it. They were not into it at all. Crowd was dead for most of this. Yeah, this was not good at all. Gunn attacked White on the stage during his entrance and repeatedly sent White crashing into the barricade. And it's like, ain't Billy supposed to be the babyface? I get it. He's looking for revenge, but still. Match officially begins in the ring as Gunn no-sells a White chop and sticks him with a right hand. The Acclaimed are shown watching backstage, while the Guns look annoyed watching as well. They start brawling into the crowd with, and referee Operators just follows them. Doesn't like try to count them out, doesn't nothing, just follows them and is like, yeah, okay, whatever. Referee's just not giving two shits tonight, because we'll talk about that in the tag match with the Young Bucks and Best Friends. The Guns stayed in control outside for what felt like 5 minutes at least. White was with White getting in the ring for a split second, only to be clotheslined back on the floor by Gunn, which sent things to a commercial break. During the break, Gunn tried slamming White into a chair set up next to the steps, but Aubrey didn't allow it, placing the chair under the ring, which begs the question, why wouldn't Gunn just slam White on the steel steps? If you're going to try and slam him on the chair there and the ref's going to stop him, or stop you, use the steps. She's not going to move the steps or tell you no about the steps, because the steps are placed there always for, I don't know. Come back from a break. White finally sidestepped the corner splash and got his first offense. It felt like his first offense of the match. He drop kicked out the leg of Gunn. White wanted a famouser, but ran into a tilt-a-whirl slam. White rolled to the floor, and we saw the Acclaimed laid out backstage on the big screen. So think about it. Remember this. The Acclaimed laid out backstage. White then posted Gunn and tried to go for a Blade Runner back inside, but Gunn countered into a one and only for the double down. Gunn hit two Famousers and signaled for a third, but when he went for a third, but then went to grab a chair. Austin and Colton would run down and pleaded with their father not to hit Jay White with a chair. Gunn tossed aside Austin, and White hit a low blow for the disqualification. White then grabbed the chair and was about to go for the chair shot when the Acclaim just run out like they're fine. Like they were not just laid out backstage. They come out like they're 100% perfectly fine. What the shit? They all brawl. But the gun, they all brawl. They throw the guns out of the ring before Daddy Ash checked White. The Acclaim then cleared off the announce table. They wanted to suplex White through it, but the Guns made the save, and they all bailed through the crowd. It's like, really? This was not good at all. This really sucked. This really just blew big chunks. So they show us footage of the Young Bucks arriving from earlier today. They also show us Best Friends arriving. They show us Trent, Orange, Chuck, and even Sue was there, all wearing the Best Friends tracksuit jackets. Then we get an awkward, weird segment. It's Renee Paquette introducing the number one contender for the TBS Championship, Willow Nightingale. She comes out to a good reaction from the crowd. She's also got Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway with her, but they're standing with their backs to the crowd. Let's pretend like the crowd's behind me, but the crowd's dark, and so it looks like there's not a lot of people there. Literally looks like there's only a couple hundred, if that. Like, not a knock on Ring of Honor, but it looks like a Sinclair Broadcasting owned a Ring of Honor event where there's maybe 900 to 1,000 people there at the most. It does not look like there's a lot of people in this building as well. And they never, like, they'd move the cameras around and they'd kind of go this way to like the hard cam side, and then immediately it'd cut back and the camera would move back this way. They did not want to show that hard cam sign at all. They did not want to show that hard cam side. So Willow's talking about Worcester, Mass. She's reacting to the crowd reacting to her, but it's just so awkward because she's not looking at the crowd. And then she kind of gets a little flustered because she's like, yeah, everybody here. And then she's like, pause for a second. And you watching at home as well. And she looks right into the camera. It's so weird. So Nightingale said that she feels mother fluffing great with the win last week, becoming number one contender for the TBS Championship. Nightingale says she busted her butt around this town, and she wrestled in what they call White Eagle. I guess it's a venue, which got a massive pop from the crowd. Nightingale called this her home away from home, and a place where she learned a lot about becoming a pro wrestler and becoming Willow Nightingale. She says every time she questions if she belongs in wrestling, crowds cheer her up and reassure her she belongs here. And this crowd, or at least crowds in Worcester, helped her blossom into what she is today. She says she's going to be the smiling face of TBS when she wins the title. Hathaway say that Nightingale had last week what the kids call a banger. Week after week, she impresses not only Hathaway, but the entire world. Just then, the music of Mercedes Moné would hit and Mercedes would come out on the stage. She comes down, she says, Worcester, say hello to your CEO. Moné said, I just want to let you guys know that whoever walks out of Dynasty as the TBS champion, whether that is you, Willow, or it's Julia, I will be challenging in Las Vegas at Double or Nothing. She said, because in Las Vegas, Moné changes everything. She said that she will be getting, I guess, a TBS championship match. And it's like, really? Why? She hasn't had a match at all in AEW. Tony Khan brought the rankings back last week. Said, hey, we have updated rankings. Yet this woman can just come out here and say, I'm going to get a title shot. And I've never even had a match. At least Okada had some tag matches and pinned the Continental Champion before getting a title shot. This bitch hasn't even had a match. Whether that's a triple threat, a singles match, a tag match, a six-man trios, whatever. She has not gotten into a ring for a competitive match at all for AEW. She's just talked, and not even all that well. So, yeah, this is some bullshit. This is some dumbass booking. Because it's like, why did 4 women have to fight to become number one contender last week? Why did Willow have to earn a shot at the TBS championship? But Mercedes can just come out and say, I'm getting a shot at the Double or Nothing in Vegas. It makes no sense. It makes your rankings seem inadequate, even though they already did. So, yeah. It's dumb. Very dumb. Hopefully she has a match before Double or Nothing, because if she goes into Double or Nothing challenging for the title and doesn't even have a match in the next 2 months, then this is going to even feel even dumber. Like, we don't know if she's going to work any matches before the pay-per-view or before the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. That's 2 pay-per-views away. But the way they made it sound is like, nope, she doesn't have to do anything before that pay-per-view other than talk and look cool, even though Marisha doesn't. So, yeah. Like, people ask, so is she not having a match till Double or Nothing? We don't know that. She could have a match on Collision, Dynamite, or Rampage match or whatever. Maybe she does have a match at Dynasty. But she hasn't done enough to lay claim to a number one contendership when you have a rankings that you say matter, and then you don't even use them. Then we go forward to people that do have to earn a title shot. It's the Young Bucks and Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Trent Beretta. There's a tournament going on to crown vacant champions. And even the EVPs, who technically in storyline can just say, well, all those guys are going to fight in this tournament, but then we're going to put ourselves in the finals and just fight there for the titles. They could easily have done that with these new heel EVP gimmicks. But no, they're going through the whole goddamn tournament to earn a shot at the vacant championships. Yes, yet Monet, the CEO, like what the fuck is she a CEO of? It's like in WWE. What was she a boss of? She doesn't have to earn nothing. It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. But I did like this match. I thought this match, Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas against Trent and Orange, so good. This match was so much fun. During the Bucks entrance, this is great. Matt looks into the camera and literally says, quote, "Hey, Scapegoat, I love your work." Referencing Jack Perry there. Also, Excalibur did let us know early on, this match goes 20 minutes and it's a time limit draw. Then FDR and Top Flight on Collision actually would then become a match for the championship. If neither of these teams win because there's a time limit, they literally vacate their spot at the pay-per-view, and I guess they're calling it the West bracket finals becomes the title match. I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. That's cool. I liked that small little twist there. They didn't have to tell us that, but I thought that was a cool small little twist that they threw in there that actually was very, very, very interesting. So as far as the match does go, give me 1 second. Got a message I might need to respond to. Give me 1 quick second, guys. Okay, this can wait. Yeah, I think this can wait. Also, movies in the YouTube chat. We're gonna time you out for spamming the chat. As far as the match does go, Brett and Cassidy worked together with some fast tags early on, isolating Matthew on their side of the ring, but Nicholas eventually tripped up Beretta in the ropes, and Matthew mockingly checked on him until hitting some rolling Northern Lights. Beretta then fought back and countered one into a tornado DDT as a leaping double stomp on Nicholas sent the Bucks to the floor. They swept the leg of Beretta on the edge of the apron, though. This was followed with a power bomb on both Cassidy and Beretta. Well, power bombs, plural, on both Beretta and Cassidy. That sent the Bucks to the no, I just skipped a line. I just lost my spot in my notes. Sorry about that. Others followed by power bombs on both Beretta and Cassidy on the apron as well. Matthew then put on a headset and threw it to commercial break because he said Excalibur wasn't doing it well. Come back, there was a double down spot. Matthew pulled off the turnbuckle pad, unbeknownst to referee Rick Knox. Beretta then made the hot tag to Cassidy, who ran wild with the top rope crossbody and a clothesline before being ultimately planted with the DDT by Matthew. Lariat turned Cassidy inside out as the Bucks mocked the little kicks before signaling for an EBV trigger, but Cassidy ducked and the Bucks smacked the knees together. Cassidy then hit multiple spinning DDTs before a top rope DDT spiked Nicholas face first or head first down onto the mat. He got 2 off of it. Beretta made the tag and put Nicholas into a tombstone position as Cassidy hit a spike off the top, kind of like their version of a TK driver. Beretta then pulled a page out of Taylor's playbook and hit Soul Food, but Matthew responded with a super kick into a code blue. Matthew then went to the floor and super kicked Chuck Taylor. He then played it up like he was going to super kick Sue and then was like, wait, no, I like you, Sue. And this whole time, referee Rick Knox is watching all of this. He's staring right at Matt and Sue. And so Matt's like, no, we love Sue. Sue, fist bump. And Sue kind of like puts her hand on his hand. And then she's the lightest of slaps, just lightest of slaps. And Rick Knox goes, like a shocked fan. Not a DQ? Come on. You watched somebody slap a guy in the match, and the somebody is not in the match. Like, so dumb. Not a DQ? Should have been a DQ. So Matthew was then taken out by Orange. Back inside the ring, Beretta hit a running knee as a top rope double down stomp. Connected and then a Storm Zero. Nicholas then broke the count, only to be wiped out by a Cassidy dive. Sue then cheered on her son to fight back as Beretta charged at Matthew, who hit a slingshot on Beretta into the exposed buckle and got a schoolboy to pick up the victory. So the Young Bucks do win, and they're now moving on to the finals at the pay-per-view Dynasty to challenge and fight for the vacant tag titles. So afterwards, the Bucks leave. Go away. Trent seems a little upset with the loss. So Chuck gets in the ring, and he's like, it's okay. It's okay. Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out. So he goes to one corner. Chuck over here. Orange goes to one corner. Trent goes to another corner. They all slowly start to come meet in the middle, and then Trent runs and boom, knees Orange in the face. He gets this pissed off look on his face, looks over at Chuck, gets out of the ring, walks right past Sue, and there we go. Chuck Taylor has turned heel, seemingly. He has attacked Orange Cassidy. Give me Trent Beretta. I almost said Chuck Taylor. Give me Trent Beretta and Orange Cassidy at the Dynasty pay-per-view. I'm all for this match. This match should be so good. Then we had Thunder Rosa versus Mariah May. They told us last week that the winner becomes number one contender for the Women's World Championship, but then none of the graphics said it. So I was going into this going, is it not a number one contenders match? And then they told us during the match, it is a number one contenders match, basically. So Tony Storm was on commentary here. Russell wasted no time attacking at the bell on to Mariah May. Storm tells Shivani she's sorry he lost his dog. Thankfully, we got to watch Thunder Rosa. May came back with some strikes. Follow this up with some sweet cheek music and a shotgun dropkick for a 2. Rosa countered a side slam into a head scissors before sending May to the apron with a charging dropkick. Rosa wanted a Death Valley driver on the apron, but May slid out. She tried to go for a sunset flip bomb, only for Thunder Rosa to counter into a hurricane run on the floor. Rosa then hit a diving crossbody against the barricade as we go to a commercial break. Come back, the crowd was basically dead, making very little noise. They picked up a little bit as both ladies kept going at it with a forearm chop exchange. Storm said that May reminded her of a young Tony Storm. But Rosa reminds her of an older Thunder Rosa. May connected with the backdrop driver, but Rosa avoided a corner charge. May tried a head scissors, but Rosa again fought it off, only to roll through a top rope double stomp attempt. May was there for a charging knee. She wanted to follow this up with the Mayday, but Rosa reversed it and got a 2 off the roll-up. May then fired off a wild headbutt, wanted the Mayday again, and this time Thunder Rosa hit back with the backstabber, the Hano Bomb, and picked up the victory. So there we go. Thunder Rosa wins and will now be challenging Tony Storm for the AEW Women's World Championship at the Dynasty pay-per-view. Storm seemed stunned on commentary, where literally they cut to her twice, and she's just sitting there like this. Just deadpanned. Shocked. Go to the back, and Penta El Zero Miedo was there with Alex Abrahantes. Abrahantes says that Penta is for the people. They've been asking for Penta to carry gold. Penta says that he will challenge Adam Copeland for the TNT Championship next week on Dynamite. As the people want a champion with Zero Miedo. No fear. We then move to our main event segment. It's the contract signing between Samoa Joe and Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship match at Dynasty. Like I said, this actually worked. For me, at least. And I know a couple of people that I spoke to since the show ended. There was like, yeah, got me hyped up. This got me wanting to see this match so bad. Joins Shivani there and welcomes out Swerve Strickland, who comes out with Prince Nana. Follows this up with calling out and bringing out Samoa Joe. Table set up in the middle of the ring. Shivani thanks both for coming out as Joe signs the contract first, but told Shivani to shut up when trying to give Strickland the contract. Joe said that he wants to give Strickland advice before signing, as he understands where Strickland is coming from. Joe talks about the blood feud with Hangman Page and multiple championship opportunities. Everybody is ready for a new champion to be crowned. Joe said that that's the bad information Strickland has been given. Signing this contract is a career-defining mistake. So he puts it in terms of a rapper who Swerve would understand. He's going to beat Strickland so bad, it'll leave him scared, like he left Diddy's party too late. I got a huge reaction from the crowd. I didn't get the reference, but the crowd liked it, so cool. And then Joe told Strickland, do the right thing. Strickland said before he signs the contract, Joe should know that he's wanted this moment his entire life. It's been filled with many roadblocks, but it's taken till AEW Dynasty for it to happen. It's exactly what he's been built for. A dynasty. With signings like Okada, Monet, and Ospreay, he will bring this company to the next dynasty. This actually led to an MJF chant from the crowd, which is weird. Strickland waited for them to calm down and said Joe is the definition of a killer. But so was he. At Dynasty, Strickland will show Joe that he's every bit of the man that he says he is, and he will grab the keys to the dynasty and show everybody whose house it is. Strickland then slugs Joe and wraps a chain around his throat, but Joe headbutts him and gets the chain off of him, takes the chain, wraps it around his hand, and beats the dog piss out of Swerve with the chain, busting him open. He's got Swerve in the corner, and he's just head, body, head, body, body, head, body, head, body, body, just shot after shot after shot with his chain wrapped around his hand. And you got Swerve here falling in the corner, just blood dripping and dripping and dripping and dripping. Joe eventually leaves. Swerve crawls over to the contract laying on the floor. He grabs a microphone that he's still dripping blood on, and he laughs. And he's like, that all you got? If that's all you got, no, yeah, I'm beating you at the pay-per-view. He then takes the pen, wipes it in his blood, goes to sign it, realizes ain't enough blood on this. So he grabs his hand, wipes the blood on the contract, and then signs the contract. Joe then says, you want more? And he runs down, jumps in the ring, gives him a Uranagi through the table, and stands over him with the AEW championship and 1 foot on Swerve's chest as the show goes off the air. Yeah, really good main event segment, I thought, to hype up the main event, or what I assume is going to be the main event for the pay-per-view at AEW Dynasty. But with that, let me get the poll here for Twitch before we talk about some other things. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was right. I didn't like it. If you are watching on Twitch, you can now go vote in the poll. And as far as Rampage and Collision do go, as far as Rampage does go, Malachi Black will be taking on Christopher Daniels. Roderick Strong will be taking on London Lightning. Serena Deeb will be taking on Trish Adora. And Daniel Garcia will be taking on Commander, who will also be taking on Brian Keith, who will be taking on Andretti in a 4-way match. As far as Collision does go, FTR will be taking on Top Flight for a spot in the finals to crown the new tag team champions. Pentail Zero Miedo will be taking on Commander. And then next week, we know the TNT Championship will be on the line with Adam Copeland, defending against Pentail Zero Miedo. But with that, as far as all these polls do go, let's pop these up and refresh them. I didn't get a community poll. I thought I did. It never posted, it looks like. Hold on. Yeah, community poll never posted. Apologize for that one, but we have the other ones. Threads poll. What? Threads poll didn't post either. I know I posted a Threads poll. Why it didn't go, I don't know. Twitter poll went, though. Ooh, interesting. 42% thought the show was just all right. 38% liked the show, and 19% didn't like Dynamite. As far as the YouTube live poll does go, 58% liked the show, 22% thought it was just all right, and 19% didn't like it. So it seems like a lot less people than normal liked the show tonight. Usually, Dynamite's like 60-70%. And let's see, did anybody vote on Twitch? It looks like not yet. Everybody that voted on Twitch, you did like the show. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, guys, we're going to be back on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Then we got 2 live podcasts on Saturday, one for NXT Stand and Deliver, and then one for WrestleMania. And Sunday, we'll be back after WrestleMania. Then Monday, we're doing it all again for Monday Night Raw. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. It's WrestleMania week, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.